The Cebu Home and Builder Center Mega Year-End Sale is here! Mega deals of up to 70% off on great selections from tile, bath, light system, hardware, and a lot more. Hurry! Grab this chance to avail of our mega discount of the year. Visit Cebu Home and Builder Center branches from November 15 to December 15 in Banilad, Mactan, Consolacion, Enbacaso, and Minglanilla. Special thanks to our brand partners, Ala Plana, Argenta, Baldoser, Duragres, El Molino, Fino, Fino Royal, Lux, Mulia, Sasuko, Studio, Taisera, Cool, Malcolux, Kendo, and Cool PPR. For detailed fair trade permit number R7CEB 441 series of 2020.
Good evening. It's Monday, December 14, 2020 here in Cebu City. I'm Cherry Ann Lim, and this is SunStar Tonight. Out of 80 barangays in Cebu City, 58 have reported zero transmission of COVID-19 cases for the past 14 days. The Emergency Operations Center in Cebu City hopes this drop in the number of active COVID-19 cases continues until Christmas Day. Kenneth Torres reports.
58 of Cebu City's 80 barangays have reported zero transmission of the coronavirus disease for the past 14 days. EOC Deputy Chief Implementer Councilor Joel Garganera made the announcement on Sunday, December 13. Included in the 58 barangays with zero transmission are the mountain villages of Buut, Taptap, Paril, and Sudlun Uno, despite the continuous drop in number of active cases. Garganera said public should not be complacent. The EOC did not name all the 58 barangays, so residents in these areas will continue to guard against the disease. Garganera hopes this trend will continue until Christmas Day. Based on the data of the Department of Health Central Visayas, Cebu City recorded 5 new COVID-19 cases, 2 additional recoveries, and 0 reported deaths as of Sunday, December 13. A total of 9,851 have recovered from COVID-19, while death toll has reached 688. The city has 10,713 total COVID-19 cases. Kenneth Torres, SunStar Tonight.
28 responders in Mandaue City are now ready to respond to any untoward incident after completing their refresher course last Sunday. Mildred Galarpe reports.
The Mandaue City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, or CDRRMO, conducted a refresher course on water search and rescue, high-angle rescue, and firefighting training on their personnel. Aside from the monthly emergency response training, CDRRMO Operations Head Felix Suico Jr. said their personnel should also undergo training once a month to familiarize themselves with the newly purchased equipment. While the newly purchased equipment is under warranty, Suico said training the personnel with the equipment will determine if it has a defect. Suico said CDRRMO personnel were also trained to use their heavy-duty equipment to rescue passengers trapped during vehicular accidents. Mildred Galarpe, SunStar Tonight.
SunStar Tonight will be right back after this short break.
Now that 2020 is almost over, the chairman of the Committee on Budget and Appropriations in Mandaue City, Councilor Joel Senu, said they have identified 3 sectors that will get the biggest chunk of the budget for 2021. The top three sectors are the non-office or the basic services of the city, which will get over 1 billion pesos, Disaster Risk Reduction Management Fund including expenses for COVID-19 response with 130 million pesos, and General Services Office with 120 million pesos. The Mandaue City Council has passed its 2021 budget of 2.588 billion pesos. The amount is smaller compared to this year's budget of 2.7 billion pesos.
And joining us today to tell us more about what Mandaue City will spend on next year is Mandaue City Councilor Joel Seno, Chairman of the Committee on Budget and Appropriations. Sir, what three sectors will get the biggest chunks of the budget for 2021?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Your question is which sector will get the biggest chunk of the budget? We identified three areas where we should focus on, which is number one, the non-office. We appropriated 1,159,605 and 295 pesos. And DRR fund, because we need that to cope up with our pandemic situation now. And also for the General Services Office. For the DRRM fund, it's a 130 million. And for the GSO, it's a 120 million. That's the first three will get the biggest chunk of the budget for 2021.
What do you mean by non-office?
These are the operating expenses, the basic services of the city.
Okay, sir. So what percentage of the budget has been allocated for the fight against COVID-19?
We allocated that in our account for DRRM, and that's 130 million pesos.
Okay, and how exactly will this 130 million pesos be spent? Like, where will it go?
As needed, as required ang expenses. The expenses will be as needed. Now, for example, we will need an equipment. Of course, that will be identified already as COVID or response to pandemic, so that we allocated that amount to be spent for that purpose.
So there are no specifics yet, like what you would like to buy, like it will go towards masks, ventilators, or
No,
payment personnel.
that will be as needed.
Okay. So
You know, it's a very this situation now in the very volatile, so we just have to make adjustments once in a while.
okay, sir, you have allocated 43 million pesos for the Mandaue City Hospital, and then the Mandaue City Public Market gets even bigger, which is a 75 million pesos. What exactly will the money go to? Are you going to renovate?
The city public market is allocated 74 million. You're correct, because we're still paying a loan for that purpose. So yearly, we spend a big chunk of that is for the payment of the loan and also for the operating expenses.
And for the hospital, it's for just for operating expenses.
Yes, for the operating expenses, that is actually a subsidy.
Okay. So for the Mandaue City Sports Complex, you have allocated 2.1 billion pesos, and Mandaue City Slaughterhouse 6.9 million pesos. So this is also for operating expenses?
Yes, for operating expenses. We are doing it manually in this slaughterhouse.
Okay. So the Mandaue City government recently turned over to the DepEd Mandaue City Division 5,000 tablets for public senior high school students, 16,200 tablets for public elementary school students, and 623 laptops for public school teachers to help them in the distance learning initiative amid the COVID-19 crisis. So are you intending to buy more of these laptops and tablets next year?
Actually, the number of laptops or tablets that were purchased is not enough yet to for the whole allocation. Actually, it's a subject of the executive discretion. So as needed. For example, if there are a lot of students who still need laptops, so we will provide them laptops. But you know, the most important thing that we are focusing on, not the only, but one of the most important thing to answer under this situation now. We just had a conversation with the mayor just last week. It's the upgrading of the internet system because if we cannot upgrade, or I mean if we cannot push this telecom to upgrade their system or make the internet connection as fast as possible, as in par with other nations, this tablet is very useless. So we might just as well go back to face to face. But the trust of the mayor is to give quality education to the studentry. So that's why we are not closing our doors in providing more tablets or laptops to the students who need it most. That's why it's subject for the executive discretion, but I believe if the need arises, the mayor would gladly provide the students what they need.
Okay, but for the internet connectivity push, is that going to cost you, or you are just going to encourage the telcos to provide the connectivity for free?
Uh, yes, of course, that is their domain. They're private corporations. We can only push them and request them to please upgrade the system as soon as possible because uh, maybe perhaps we can also inform them that a new competitor, a new player is already doubly working hard so that they can already be in competition. So, it's difficult if there are only very few players in the telecom communication industry. So they can always dictate, but it's better if we have more competitions. We can only, in so far as you're concerned, is concerned, the subject. We can only request the telcos to do better so that it will not pose any problem.
Okay, sir. What major investments are you going to make in infrastructure next year?
Uh,
Like roads, buildings?
we focus the city under the administration of Mayor Jonas focuses on the flood control projects because we recently experienced flooding in the city. It's not only the problem of the city, but it's everybody's concern, especially in low-lying areas. In Mandaue, we are being an area where all creeks and rivers are converging in our city. So we allocated substantial amount for that for flood control projects under the DRR also, which is 71 million for the development fund for flood control projects of the city. It's quite substantial, and also the road opening in areas in Centro, Looc, Subang Dako, and Alang-Alang for the development fund. This is also one of the major projects of the city.
Okay, sir. How about in under disaster risk management for 2021? What are the big investments you intend to make?
Okay, the city allocated 27 million, more or less, for project-based risk reduction and management services. That is that will practically cover all angles in disaster protection, like purchases of some not really big equipments, but some facilities that the city intends to build for this for the DRR. So and also another thing that the city is preparing is for the emergency rescue PPE. No? We allocated 5 million for that, and also purchases of emergency vehicles, which we allocated already 5 million for purchase of some vehicles, emergency vehicles.
Sir, when you say emergency rescue PPE, you mean personal protective equipment?
Yes, for the fire protection.
Oh.
Uh,
Is there a budget next year for the resettling of informal settlers away from riversides and creeks like the Butuanon River and the Mahiga Creek?
Actually, that is already part of the DRR fund, no? And then part also of the discretionary fund of the chief executive, because as the need arises, that those, like for example, we recently have a fire in occurring in which occurred in Look. So there are calamity funds for that, and also for that purpose, informal settlers. The city is encouraging the venture of PPP, for the resettlement of these informal settlers. In fact, there are already uh, projects which has been started by this administration, particularly also in Look, that it is a partnership, a private part, the government and the private partnership. They're building for resettlement areas in the barangay.
But how many do you see will be resettled by next year? Is there a target?
Uh, no target yet. I'm not very familiar with the target, but the backlog of the housing in the city is quite substantial. But what I know is it is being addressed, being addressed by the mayor, because we cannot continue to have the backlog, because for all intents and purposes, that it will actually be a big chunk of an investment for the city if we'll just set them aside. So especially, it goes around. It goes around. It's part of the being a resilient city. We have to take care of them also, and by providing them relocation sites.
And with that, we'd like to thank Mandaue City Councilor Joel Seno, Chairman of the Committee on Budget and Appropriations. Thank you for joining us at SunStar Tonight.
And for this week's weather update, here's Tiffany Neri.
Thank you, Cherry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the end of SunStar Tonight. I'm Tiffany Neri, here to bring you a break from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. We end tonight with a 5-day weather outlook for Metro Cebu. Prep your umbrella. For the rest of the week, Metro Cebu and Cebu Province may experience cloudy skies with some rain showers or thunderstorms. Is it just me, or does anyone else find it weird and kind of inconvenient how the internet connection is affected by the weather? If so, let us know in the comments section below. For now, always be prepared and stay safe, everyone. Back to you, Cherry.
It's 11 days to go before Christmas. To get the latest, visit www.sunstar.com.ph. Follow us on our YouTube channel and official social media accounts on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Cherry Ann Lim, and this has been SunStar Tonight. See you again tomorrow. Good night.